This re-upload includes an edit of the score, so the review is pretty much the same. It's just that I'm just changing the score. Hello ladies and gentlemen, Nick here, and welcome to my review of Doctor Who The Smugglers. Now this time I don't actually know whether I think this is a good story or if it's just an okay story. I think it's okay, but I don't know. I don't know for this one. This one's the first time I don't have a solid opinion on it. I mean, some of them they do flip around, but there's usually a definitive choice, whether it's been raised or lowered or stayed the same or something, or just a smaller amount of enjoyment or a lesser amount of enjoyment. But this one, I think it's better than the first viewing. First viewing I gave it a 6 out of 10, but this time around I liked it a bit more. I wouldn't say I enjoyed it a bit more, but I liked it a bit more. But this one just didn't scream the greatest ever, but it didn't scream awful. It's just there, I suppose. It's, yeah, I guess this is I guess it's okay. I had good, some bits were good and some bits weren't so good. So this is the definition of a okay William Hartnell story. It's not one of my least favourites anymore. It used to be, but then so did the Massacre, and that's gone up. So anyway, the plot is, after the end of the War Machines, at the end of that story, Ben and Polly went on board the TARDIS, and the Doctor finally notices, and they end up in the 17th century in Cornwall. So then they have an adventure with smugglers and pirates and revenue guys, just faffing around a bit. They meet a church warden who was an ex-pirate, but the warden gets killed shortly after they head to the inn by a fellow pirate. They are then framed, well, I wouldn't say framed, they are accused of murder. Whilst the Doctor is kidnapped by the pirates, Ben and Polly are accused of murder by the squire, who is a magistrate for the county, or at least for the area. It seems like the squire is involved with gentlemanly business, so could possibly with smuggling. However, he's unaware that the people he's dealing with are pirates. Ben and Polly manage to escape and discover who's really behind the church warden's death, and they meet up with a customs guy who helps them out, sort out everything, and the Doctor then joins them after escaping with a pub guy who then goes off to join the squire. So they could try and get the treasure. But then one of the pirates kills him, and then the rest of the pirates are trying to get the treasure themselves, whilst the revenue guy goes off to get help. And it's a lot of back and forth. There's a lot of back and forth. Now some of the stuff I'm not so fond of, but there's some good bits. I didn't really have a huge amount to say. I'm just saying, yeah, some of it's good. I wasn't so keen on some of the shoutier moments, or some bits just not being listened to. The stuff with them being strangers, I can understand that being there. I can understand why some people may not like in the area finding strangers strangers, they are suspicious. It's like how in Rosa, how they treated black people in the 1950s in the Southern American state. It's a bit like that, although nowhere near as harsh, I would say. I mean, the worst they comes here is being accused of murder, because they're strangers. Woo! I guess that's why the church warden could trust the Doctor with his little secret. Well, secret with the riddle. Eventually they discover the treasure. Well, I think they do. One of the pirate leads, cutlass, not a hook, it's something. But yeah, he tries to get after the treasure. He's technically the main villain. We don't get introduced to him till the end of the episode. First episode. Yeah, end of the first episode. And yeah, that's a good bit where the Doctor plays cards with the innkeeper on the ship. And by the way, the first black person appears in this episode, I think. He might be the first, I'm not sure. Lots of people claim it's Earl Cameron in the next one. But I think this episode beat it by a few episodes of having the first black actor in the show. There might have been one or two earlier on in this show, maybe as extras. To be fair, neither of them are playing main characters. I think Toberman might be the earliest for that. Another positive for Tomb of the Cybermen, which is in a season's time. Yes! Yeah, The Smugglers, it's okay, it's good. I mean, it's not much, really. There isn't really that much I can say about this. It's good, but it's not amazing. Well, I'll say it's okay then. It's okay. It'll be okay. It's okay. It's the weakest season opener, to be honest, of the Hartnell years so far, and out of the first four, which are the Hartnell years, but there will be a season opener coming up in the Troughton years that will be weaker. And it's not Tomb of the Cybermen, before you say. It's the one afterwards, the Dominators, which we'll get to. But at this point in time, this is the weakest season opener prior to the Dominators. Which is a shame for Hartnell's penultimate story. It's disappointing, to speak. I mean, it's okay, it's not awful, but considering it's William Hartnell's penultimate story, it's not that great. To be fair, I don't think they intended it to be his penultimate story, but once they knew the 10th planet would be his last, then this one became his penultimate. But that being said, it was just, it's not that great as a penultimate episode. As a standalone one, it's okay. It's got some good moments, got some not so great ones. As a penultimate episode story for William Hartnell, it's not that great. His final one would be, thankfully, a bit better. So I'm going to give The Smugglers a 6 out of 10. Just being a okay standalone story, it's alright, it's okay. It's got some good bits and not so good bits. It does take its time to work out. Actually, my favourite bit was the first 10 to 11 minutes where they were just looking around. Wasn't so keen on the Doctor having a go at them in the TARDIS, but once they got to the beach and Ben and Polly weren't convinced that they were travelling in time and space, that the interactions were well, and them meeting the church warden, it was good. It's only when Cherub, the character Cherub, goes in, follows the church warden in intent to kill him after getting some information, it's where the plot picks up, and that's just before the 11 minutes mark, at least in the reconstruction. Oh yeah, this story's completely missing, so I've had to go back to the reconstruction to watch it. But yeah, actually that first 10 minutes were my favourite, 10 to 11 minutes were my favourite, just because it was actually quite fun. Yeah, and then the plot showed up, and it's okay. Yeah, I won't call this one anything special. For a penultimate story, it's disappointing, but it's fine. Disappointing as a penultimate story. As a story itself, it's okay. So yeah, that's The Smugglers. Well, there's only one more William Hartnell story left. The 10th Planet. And then after this, William Hartnell, we have to say goodbye. So, yeah. I've also decided on something. I've decided I'm also going to do a ranking of, for each Doctor, I'm going to do a top 10 episodes or stories per Doctor, with the exception of 6, 7, and 9, which will get top 5s, because they have just about 10 stories each. I mean, 6th Doctor, he's got 8 if you count Trial of the Time Lord as one whole story, and 11 if they're counted as individuals. 7's only got 12, and 9's only got 10 if you count the two-parters as one whole story. And if you count them as individual episodes, then it's only 13. So, yeah, so those ones are only getting top 5 stories, and I'm counting two-parters as top 5s. I may even have to redo my Series 10 ranking to include that. That was done as episodes, at least for the two-part finale, which came first and second. But yes, and also for the 8th and War Doctors, I'll be doing top 5 TV moments, the best 5 moments they've had on screen together. As for the other Doctors, 1 to 5 and 10 onwards, they will be the top 10 episodes. Although with the 13th Doctor's case, this depends on when that ranking will come along, whether Series 12 is out by then, or if it's still Series 11 is still the latest series, in which case that might be lowered down to a top 5 as well. Yeah, which will basically be the top 5 Series 11 episodes. So that's it from the Smugglers, and a quick little update. So I'll be doing a top 10 William Hartnell episode ranking sometime after the 10th Planet. I'll have to list them down, and yeah, so thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye. Don't forget to click below to subscribe to the official Nicholas Payne Retro YouTube channel. And at the start of this one, the Doctor finally notices, and they are spotted. Yeah. So I originally gave this story a 6 out of 10, but I've decided to give it a 7 out of 10. So I'm giving the Smugglers a 7 out of 10. This re-upload includes so I'm going to give